Niagara Falls from the Canadian side or the American side? Which one's better? We'll settle it right here on Camp Outside. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Camp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. Well, I've already fielded that question once since I've been here. Which side is better, the Canadian side or the American side? Well, we're going to settle that in this video, but honestly guys, spoiler alert, you should see both sides. Right now I'm on the Canadian side, the Horseshoe Falls are behind me. I spent this morning at the American side. Guys, both sides have their merits. Let's talk about which ones are better for what things. Let's get into it right now. So when you ask people who've been here before which side is better, you're oftentimes going to get a different answer depending on who you ask. That's because there are a bunch of different criteria to judge which side is better. The first one we're going to look at is how close can you get to the waterfall. In this criteria, I think the American side has it hands down because you can get right up to Bridal Veil Falls, the American Falls, both sides, and the American side of the Horseshoe Falls. Where on the Canadian side, all you can do is get up to the Canadian side of Horseshoe Falls. Let's go take a look at the Canadian side of Horseshoe Falls, and then we'll take a look at all of the waterfalls up close on the American side. When it comes to how close you can get, this is it on the Canadian side. Beautiful views of the Horseshoe Falls, but as you can imagine, this side is very, very busy. While the Canadian side does have stunning views of all the falls, you can't get right up to American Falls like you can here. This shot is taken from Niagara Falls State Park on the American side, obviously, and this is one look at American Falls. And here's a look at American Falls from the other side. Again, both sides of this waterfall are in Niagara Falls State Park on the American side. You can't get this close to these falls from the Canadian side, which you can see is across the Niagara River. Right next to American Falls is Bridal Veil Falls and is the smallest main waterfall in the Niagara Falls system. And this waterfall is incredible because not only can you see it up close from the top side, but down below, if you do the Cave of the Winds tour, which I'm going to show you in just a second. You can't get this close to these waterfalls from the Canadian side. And here's a look at Horseshoe Falls from the American side at Terrapin Point. As you can see, you can get right up to this side of Horseshoe Falls. So it gives you a similar view to being right at the edge of the waterfall on the Canadian side. Granted, on the Canadian side, you can see a little more of the horseshoe than you can on the American side. So I do recommend viewing the Horseshoe Falls best from the Canadian side. But I think it's a draw since you can get right up to the falls from either side. But if you want to have an up-close encounter with the falls at Niagara Falls, there's nothing better than the Cave of the Winds tour. When you go down to the Cave of the Winds, you get right up onto the hurricane deck, which is right at the base of Bridal Veil Falls. That's an up-close encounter. The second criteria is completeness of view, right? in this category, Canada wins hands down. You can see the entirety of the Horseshoe Falls from this side, as well as great views of Bridal Veil Falls and American Falls. So if you want to see the falls in their entirety, you have to come to the Canadian side. Let's take a look at the Horseshoe Falls, which is behind us, as well as Bridal Veil and American Falls from the Canadian side. And then we'll take a look at what we can see from the American side, so you can see that clearly Canada wins in this category. With a street and a sidewalk that runs the entire length of the Niagara Falls viewing area in Canada, you can see clearly the entirety of Horseshoe Falls. And then if you move down the street, you can see American and Bridal Veil Falls. And here's a look at American and Bridal Veil Falls from the Canadian side. As you can see the entirety of the falls really well. You just can't get close to them. This is the view from the Maid of the Mist observation deck, and it's really the only way you can see the majority of Niagara Falls from the American side. You can see the American Falls, part of Bridal Veil Falls, and part of Horseshoe Falls. And the last criteria that I would use to judge which side is better, the Canadian side or the American side, is atmosphere. Guys, in this category, the American side wins hands down. And here's why. On the Canadian side, it's very, very commercial. There's restaurants and buildings. There's a street right near the falls. There's tons of people. It's very, very busy over here. And I just don't like that nearly as much as the American side, which is entirely encased in a state park, America's oldest state park. The New York State Park System manages Niagara Falls State Park, and so you have this much better park-like atmosphere, which for me is definitely the way I prefer to view the falls. So you absolutely have to come over to the Canadian side to see the falls in their entirety. But in terms of getting close to the falls, in terms of the atmosphere, the park-like atmosphere, and just in general, what you can see over there, the rapids, the American side to me wins 2-1. America's number one, guys. Go USA. What can I say? Canada, I'm sorry. But Canada, you will always be America's largest national park, and I do love coming up here. I love coming to Canada. I love visiting all the amazing places that you guys have. You guys have amazing natural wonders. And guys, I am by no means saying that you should skip the Canadian side, right? If you have time, come to both the Canadian side and the American side of Niagara Falls. But if you have to choose one or over the other, I vote the American side. Guys, I'm Kevin with Kemp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, let me know in the comments why. And guys, we exist to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. We want to help you get you and your kids outside. And guys, there's nothing better than bringing your kids to Niagara Falls. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos. If you want to see our video of us exploring Niagara Falls State Park, I'm going to put a link right up there where you can click on that and check that out. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.